Hi, everyone. Welcome to our webinar called Project L this time. I am Peter Schmitt. I'm Customer Success Agent with AX Semantics, and I want to introduce you a new way of thinking text automation projects. You may ask yourself, what does the L mean? I think you will see in a few minutes when we went through our webinar. What is the usual problem with generating content? Usually you want to quickly generate product descriptions for a large amount of products, and these products are usually pretty complex. That's the main task text automation is for, and we usually can help you pretty well with that, but sometimes the products are so diverse that you can't text for everything at once. Usually you want to have three main pillars of content that a content system must fulfill. So you want to have a high quality in your content. You want copy that highlights the features of your products, that shows what's special about it, that reads well, that your readers enjoy, so that in the best case you get the reading customer to a conversion. You want that kind of content for all your products that you sell, all of them pretty much, because of course these descriptions should rank for every single product that you have, and you want to optimize that. We want to call this coverage today. So the number of products you can provide content for is what we call coverage today. And last but not least, that's why you're automating. You want to have the content quickly. So not setting up a system for months and then getting text for your first category, like 50 texts or something. You want to move quickly and publish as soon as possible. These are the three pillars of text optimization. That's why we do it. There are several ways how to create the content for a complex portfolio of products. So the first I want to show you today is the vertical approach, is what we call it. It's pretty much the classical approach of how you create copy for products. So what you usually do is you pick a category that you like, the first category of all the products that you have, and then you text for the first feature in there. A classical example is a mobile phone. First, you start with its brand, with its name. You get down to its processor qualities and that kind of stuff. So you text feature by feature, and you are pretty detailed in the first category or in this category. So every feature that you have in a product gets a text representation for one category. And you do it only for this category. You only text for mobile phones. And this takes a while. Because you have to refine the text, you have to make them read well. This has a bit of a problem. So after you created the first category, you would start with the second category and have the same amount of work as you put into the first category, you have to do with the second category. So if you want to create content for both categories in the same quality, you pretty much have used up twice the time of one category. And you have to do that for every single category after that until your whole portfolio is texted like that. This is, as I said, the classic approach of how you generate content. It gives good copy. That's out of the question. It's high quality copy and detailed copy. Every category or every copy for a category is very well rounded, and it's pretty specific for the category it texts for. But this also has a few disadvantages. Namely, this, as I said, is very time consuming. You are progressing through the categories very slowly and maybe work weeks on relatively few products from your whole portfolio. So you invest a lot of work and get very little coverage at first. There's another way of doing things. We call this the horizontal approach because as you see in the graphic in here, you are not restricting yourself starting for one category, texting for one category, but you text for a feature. You look at that feature and find out how many categories share this feature. So in my example here, I have 12 categories, and every single one has this feature. Specifically, you can imagine every single product in your portfolio usually has a name. Every single product has a manufacturer. Every single product probably has a color or something. features like these, they are very reusable. If you invest in a sentence about the name of a product, you can use that sentence pretty much for every single product. And in return, you get a text for all categories at once. And once you've done the first feature, you look for the second feature that a lot of your products share, and the third one, and so on. And piece by piece, you get copy that has a lot of coverage. You have content for pretty much all your categories that have these features already, but the quality isn't that high usually because you cannot be that specific in the content. To be honest, this copy often does not please the reader. It's very short, staccato-like writing style because you don't know what to expect in the data. You cannot be specific. You cannot be detailed what a specific feature in a product means for your reader, or sometimes data fields even are so specific to a product category that you don't even mention it. So this has some disadvantages as well, but it produces content for more products at the same time. These two approaches are a bit contradictory, and usually when you come back to these three pillars I introduced, you usually have to decide which two of these are more important to you. Do you want to have a speedy production? Do you want good copy? Or do you want coverage of a lot of products? All three of them is usually not really achievable. But we have a solution that we found with our customers lately. We want to show you kind of a hybrid approach between the vertical and the horizontal copywriting and text production. What we're proposing is, first, you create a vertical category or a vertical description text for one category, like a high quality description for the first category. Usually the category that is most important to you, your main category, or the one with the most products. That's also possible. This category first serves a few purposes. Usually the quality text optimization must be proven. So you or your superior needs to see, okay, this system can provide the quality of content that I want to see. That's usually only achievable with the vertical copywriting, like we did here for one single category. But now, instead of repeating the same amount of work with the second category, we are repeating the same amount of work over all categories. After the first category is done, we start with the horizontal approach, which then covers a lot of products with the same modus operandi as I showed you before. But this time, we have a category that is very well texted for, that can prove the quality. And in the time we usually would use for one second category, we have coverage for all of the portfolio. So you pretty much got all three pillars. You got coverage, you got speed, and you got quality of copy, all proven in the time that it would use for only two categories in the classical approach. As we are starting with the vertical approach and then transitioning to a horizontal approach, this is where the L comes from. We're going in depth first and then looking sideways and expanding over all the portfolio. Once we've done the coverage, you have less pressure from this point in time, where you have coverage of all your products and the good first category. You have content that works for you already, and then you can take care of improving the categories starting from this one on their own, but in a more relaxed manner, because you know the system is good, you know you have content for everything, and now you can pretty much work in peace to improve the things you have. I'll show you first a few benefits still. As I said, you have a presentable result, which is usually important versus critics of the system or people you have to report to, so that they can see what they will get for this invest. You show the feasibility of automated copy, and you have a coverage of all the products that can already work for you after a relatively short amount of time. As I said, however, the work is not done. You need to complete, of course, the quality you see in category one for the other categories. This doesn't change from the vertical approach. However, in the meantime, you still have this stuff already working for you. And after that, you can take care of all the other categories. So our actual proposal or way of doing things would be do vertical vertical description of one category. This demonstrates feasibility. It demonstrates the quality of the text you can produce. It's also good for beginners, actually. So if you are not a customer of ours already, it's advisable to start with one single category because it's much less complex than to text for a lot of categories at once. And that's just better for learning, to find your way in the tool, get accustomed to all the things you need to do. Also to include the text automation into your organization, because usually it changes the processes of copywriting also. And once you've done that, once you're ready or happy with the first category, go horizontal, demonstrate that the automation can speed things up tremendously. Imagine if you work, let's say, 2 or 3 weeks on a text configuration and suddenly you have copy for 200,000 products. Who gives that to you? So the horizontal approach really can help you drive this automation approach home. Yeah, it gives coverage, which says every single document that you create with text automation and deploy to your shop or website or whatever service you run, this can already work for you. It can rank in Google, it can pull traffic, and that's the main point. Remember, you can always improve on that stuff that's there later on. And it reduces the pressure on your content team, because you have delivered a tremendous amount of content already. Everybody says, okay, yeah, that's all right. Let them work. In that sense, you can improve on the content that you want to do. And in the end, of course, you have to pull up the remaining categories from the horizontal state, let's say, to the quality from the vertical way of doing things. And this will then deliver the quality you expect for all the categories. The improvements that you are able to include in the next categories, of course, can then be put back into the first category as well. So when you learn things, you can put them into action very, very quickly. Okay, so this is the process that we propose for doing things. We have called this Project L. As you now see, L is pretty much the form these ways of moving through the categories describe. I'm open for questions now. If you have any questions, please put them into the Q&A section of Zoom. I'll try to answer them as good as I can. The question: isn't it accomplished already by the ability to reuse a statement in different stories? It can be, that's true. The thing is, usually when you are writing for a specific category, the sentences are much more specific about the category that you put them in. If you are writing good content, the sentences shouldn't fit for all categories. Some do, okay, some do, like a call to action or something that's usually fit for all the categories. But imagine you are talking about a very specific feature of a product. Let's say the capacity of a washing machine. So, for example, it fits a certain amount of kilos of laundry, and you say, okay, this amount of kilos of laundry, this fits for a middle-sized family or for a standard family with 4 people or something. That's a sentence that's so specific, you pretty much cannot reuse that. And that's what we say with the horizontal approach. You get so specific that this is not shareable. However, you can, by simply stating these data fields, pretty much generate statements that are shareable between categories. That's actually the difference between texting vertically and horizontally. In our tool, all sentences are reusable and shareable, that's correct, but not all sentences are edited the same or offer themselves for sharing between categories. That's the difference. Does that answer your question? So you could include that if you have a lot of products with few shareable features. This approach has a limit to how convenient it could be for your project. Yeah, it's how shall I say? It's a way to help you over the slow process of getting coverage in a short amount of time, because coverage over over all your products and pretty much the volume of the content you output sometimes is more important than high quality content for every single thing at once. So imagine you have an online shop where you don't have any content yet. It's more important to get something to each page than to have a very refined product description for everything. So this gives you the benefits of both. You see what the machine can do, and you have a speed advantage over doing everything piece by piece. It's not perfect by any means, but it's a thing to help you over, resource limitations, really. Yes, it's perfectly feasible to see a category not equal as your shop categories, but let's say a higher level of category. So all garments could be one category that you can text horizontally for. Then all electronics is another meta category you could text for. Then toys or vehicles. You can think in these senses. You need to do a data analysis on every single case on what you can cluster, because it depends a lot on how your data is structured. To find these clusters and what clusters offer themselves, or if it's already the assortment that you already have, that's actually something that would be a perfect example for doing in that workshop that we offer, if you like. Okay, I think that would be it today. If there are no more questions, I thank you for your attention. I hope we see each other again in one of our future webinars, and have a nice day, and bye-bye.